Absolute Bet. Made for live betting.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
It's the quick scope! This is unreal! Anything is possible! Anything is possible!
Ustillo is a monster, Tom!
Well, we're ready to get things underway. NiP versus AGO in a best of 3, as all the maps are in this Swiss system.
Indeed, both of these teams 1-0 right now, looking for that illustrious 2-0. If you're not familiar how the Swiss system works, it's the first, well, as soon as you get to 3-0, you're obviously through, or just the 3 wins in general. And if you lose 3 games, you're out of the tournament. It's very simple, but very fun. We've got best of 3s all the way through the group stages, and indeed the playoffs as well. And we'll see whether AGO can topple NiP. They're certainly the underdogs here, but they're a plucky bunch. They've got some great players here. Snatchy especially is a fantastic AWPer. And we're going into Train, so maybe that bodes well for him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the second time we've seen Train in the 2 series we've cast today. So in the last 3 maps, I guess, but over the 4 maps, it'll be 2 times we see it. And last time we saw it, Tyloo, stand-in, we talked about it. Tough to play with the stand-in, too many nooks and crannies. A lot of positions for an AWP. We often talk about the AWP on this map being a little bit, I guess, a different skill set, and that you have to be able to play up close, you have to be able to react very quickly, and not just in terms of reaction to shots, but also in terms of positioning. At the outer yard, as soon as one player is lost, there's so much movement that's required to cover off the angles.
Yeah, you can't just be at the back of the B site on Inferno, hitting them as they walk in. There's multiple facets of the map that you have to be watching. If you're playing inside, you've got upper and lower, potentially connector and CD spawn to deal with. It's going to be very problematic for some of the top AWPers. We'll see what happens here, though. AGO lost the knife. They'll be starting on the T side here. This NiP's pick. And they certainly are the favourites here. It'd be a bit of an upset if they lost this one. AGO have already beaten Virtus Pro, their fellow countrymen, already in the tournament. And they're officially the #1 team in Poland now, according to HLTV. So there you go. As Get Right challenges towards that upper ramp. He's actually taking a few shots to the chest. I think he might be done for here. He's maybe overstaying his welcome, but gets away. He doesn't manage to find the headshot, but gets intel that at least 3 players were there. In terms of utility, 2 smokes, a Molotov, and a few flashbangs for AGO. Molotov always suggests they go towards inside, but Dennis, the absolute pistol master, takes down the one and only. And that'll be a 5-on-4 to kick things off. And Dennis, that is not him on the camera, that's one of the AGO players. And Gruby will be holding towards T-spawn, and that's where he'll call for his teammates to come as well. But they're going to be jousting against Dennis here, and you know how good he can be with this USP.
Absolutely.
You know, especially, Matt, you've casted some brilliant moments of hits.
Absolutely.
But this won't be one of them.
Not. Grubby takes him down. We sit 4 aside. Toa, already gone. It's Furlan that goes well back toward the spawn, suggestive to the fact that they may throw Gruby smoke in and try and get something going on the A site. Mind you, I say that. And they head to the halls instead. The smoke wasn't actually thrown at all.
Get Right's position.
Oof. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday to the wall as his brains splatter all over the place. It will be an inside play at this point. Draken needs to hit some sensational shots, but he's struggling. He's getting a headshot through the smoke, and it's going to be Forrest to try and save the day here. Can't really do much of it, though. That's a very difficult one, but of course he hits it. 3 versus 2. I'd say this is an AGO round all day long.
Rez trying to find shots down toward the bomb train. Can't do it. Fear's already perked up to get Draken in return. Rez still searching, but he's going to be flanked out. He's got the HP advantage. He's got the angle as well, because by taking down Fear, he didn't spot the fact that Groovy had worked in behind him. I thought he hit the shot on Groovy fast enough. We switched cameras. He actually did not. So Snatchy closes it. AGO will go up 1-0.
It was looking quite promising there for NiP to get the opening pick, but the problem is when Dennis fully commits towards Ivy, obviously he's always going to take a bit of a gamble there if they do group up and take him down, which they did. It's actually the correct thing to do from AGO's point of view. They take him down, 4 versus 4. They then found Get Right, who was in a good position there but couldn't quite hit the shots. He was struck down, and then Draken left with so much to do at the back of the bomb site. Couldn't really find much at all. It will be the Desert Eagles now, the CZs, and of course an overall force buy from the Ninjas here. Molotov deployed, and it will be that upper bomb site, or upper area of the inside bomb site that AGO will be focusing on. It's the safest place to go against these pistols. CZ can't really do much to you. As Get Right will find out right now, they'll struggle to even get a kill at this point. Great work by AGO, and this should be quite a clean round. Get Right gets 1 kill, but I'm sure Snatchy will take him down at this point, which he does.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Pushes up, catches him off. And it's just Dennis and Forrest to find, both with head armor, so it will be a case. I say that. Okay, Forrest. Fair play. Another player who's quite good with a deagle or pistol. I was going to say it will be a matter of finding them because they'll want to keep the armor. Toa, meanwhile, trying to search out or at least get safe toward T-spawn. And the Scout, Deagles, and respective head armor will be saved.
Just want to touch on the fact how beneficial it can be, especially for an underdog team, to win the T-side pistol. It's a very CT sided map, and especially if you win the force buy in the second round as well. You have that 2-0 start, you know, guaranteed a third pretty much here. There is a safe scout for Draken, but I don't think it will cause too much of a problem. Dennis and Forrest do save their armor, but it should be quite smooth sailing still for AGO. Then you know that the NiP money is going to be very low for that first gun round. It means you can maybe go something very fast and try and catch them off position towards inside perhaps. Maybe they're trying a bit of aggressive strat. Maybe they won't have all the utility. So lots of promising rounds coming forward for AGO here. Let's get through this one first, though. Dennis and Forrest with Deagles may not be as simple as I made out to be.
So Toa and Groovy will sit back at spawn to wait for any aggression that NiP might throw or present to them. Toa does not have a smoke. Groovy does. Grubby, Groovy.
Groovy.
Groovy. I thought Groovy. That smoke designed to go in front of the Pop Dog entrance at the bottom of the ladder. Nachi and Furlan will head in from A main after the smokes land in Bloom to cover off the entrances. Draken, though it shows Dennis on the camera, will sit back by Old Bomb with the scout to try and get vision inside of the site. Snatchy's already wrapped around. Groovy's found one already. Draken goes down, and it's just the pistols that remain for NiP. And there's reason to save again for Forrest and Dennis, but Forrest is gone, the armor as well.
Yeah, Dennis will try and cause some damage here, but this has been very successful from AGO. They've only really given up a few kills so far. Like 5 in total, and they've managed to get the 3-0. They're going to take 5 players into the next round. Money's going to start swelling. And the AWP, I think it's possible for Drake. No, it's not. We've talked about this many times before. Draken's like one of those guys who really kind of stifles himself with the fact he force buys with the boys. And he'll have no money for the AWP at this point. I think I've commented on that with you lots of times, and it's meaning he's going to have to go into the rifle at this point. 3-0. And for the AWP of the squad, that's actually really bad news. So Forrest will have to take a pause. It's technical. Get Right has crashed. So there we go. It's been a bit of a rough day for technical pauses, but we'll try and get through it the best we can. It's not going to mean a PC has to be replaced. It's just a crash of the game. So I assume that'll just mean relaunching, rejoining. That should take about 30 seconds. So that should be fine. There's Pitta at the back. The coach who was brought back in, who was actually part of the squad that won the major. I think back in 2014 was that one? They won the NiP major?
Yeah. 2013 was Fnatic. 2013 second one was VP, and then 2014 first one was VP, and then theirs. So
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was part of that original squad that won the only NiP major. So they brought him back in, looking to recreate some of that gold, but hasn't really happened yet. I'm hoping that this team gets it together. We had an interview from Pitta earlier in the day saying he's now the in-game leader, however that works. I'm guessing this tournament you can probably talk at all times. I'm not sure, because that's what he said. Maybe he means that they've been doing that online for now, just to get Dennis into his role. I don't know.
Sorry, were you saying Dennis back in? Dennis wasn't part of that roster that won the major.
No, Pitta was.
Pitta, yeah. Oh, sorry, coach. Yeah, sorry. You switched to Dennis, and it confused me. Yeah. I segregated the two thoughts based on the break in your thought process.
Yeah, so the idea was like Dennis is in-game leader, but Pitta said he was at this point, which is weird. So I'm not 100% sure on the rules of this tournament, I'll be honest. I should have looked it up. That I think I've seen a lot of talking from the coaches. Maybe he can talk. I'm not sure. But that's what he said. I think he meant
I don't know. We know that everyone... I mean, DreamHack has their own coaching rule set that slightly differentiates
you can
from
talk
that.
in freeze time.
Exactly. Differentiates from that of the Valve rule set, which is only during tactical timeouts. And
I think that's the best one. I think that's the best of both worlds. It means the coach actually has some significant...
The DreamHack one, you mean?
Yeah. I think that works really well. And then mid-round is how it should be. The in-game leader has to sort everything out. So there you go. That's my 2 cents anyway. It will be the first gun round here. There's an auto shotgun for Get Right. Okay. But he's back in. That's the good news. Auto shotgun on Train. I assume he either goes to the Ivy, or maybe he'll just stick by that lower ramp. Who knows? It will be the lower ramp. That's where he plays. He'll smoke and up and maybe go on the ledge, I guess. We'll see. But a great start from AGO. Lots of money. Snatcher's got the orb. Draken couldn't afford one.
Dennis will hold outside of Ivy. Back off. Not alone in his efforts. Forrest is also nearby. The shotgun for Get Right exists, as you would expect, the most common position for it at Pop Dog. Now, that means it's great if someone goes down in that direction. Perfect, in fact, you could even say. But as soon as they go anywhere else, the distance at the outer sight becomes far too marginal for that shotgun to be effective. So we'd better hope that they had that direction, or at the very least that he could flank them going toward B if they should elect to do so, and let's believe that they will. Forrest gets Toa back. They want to fake this. In fact, I take back that they all will. And he sent Furlan in. He found the opening kill. That gave Get Right the thought of trying to flank it out, and he's still considering it. Rez will position himself formerly where he existed, and he's locked off. So the one player that got 2 kills on B ends up swinging the entire round because AGO are able to take the A side as a result.
Absolutely. Well, it's now a 3 versus 2. Dennis and Rez. I'm not sure they can even do anything about this. The fact that smoke goes down as well, Rez just has to walk through. He'll hope that AGO will just assume it's like a force field. He won't be coming. But the bomb's over the halfway point now. So what's the play? He does time it well. Rez will get the first. Now there's a chance. It's up to Groovy to solidify the round, but now Snatchy left in a really compromised spot. The bomb will be smoked. And what will he do here? They're actually going to win the round. I thought that was a guaranteed save for them, but Rez makes it all happen. He manages to come through that smoke, and like I said, some players will drop smoke to CSGO and assume, well, no one's going to walk through that. That's a death sentence, but Rez had no choice. Obviously, he had to go through at one point because they were ready to go from Pop Dog. Timed it to perfection, found one player looking away. At that point, Dennis strikes. They pincer him together, and that's a really silly moment for AGO. If they just watched the Pop Dog and nothing else, they would have been absolutely fine, but they took their attention away, and it all falls apart. It will be round number 5. The orb comes out for the first time for Draken, so they managed to get past that first gun run, which was very problematic. This should be quite smooth setting now for an NiP, but we'll see. Lots of reset potential, of course. They've all fully invested with the grenade, so if they lose this round, they're back down to a double eco. So This will be very indicative as to where this game is going. Faster play towards outside. Flashbangs deployed. Smokes are out. Forest firing through the smoke. Connects a few bullets. Does quite significant damage towards PHR, but we'll see whether he can find much more.
Double check with one player coming down from the ladder and another going through the door, that there's no one waiting at Pop Dog position. Rez in the control room has vision from above. He can play on the information that Draken has received. He's already spotted one. Peeks out to the, or I guess peeks in to the wall as they want to work up toward the bomb train. Little do they know, and we spotted it momentarily, that is happening. Snatchy has slidden up through hell with his AWP. Patience pays off. He finds Draken, and they get the bomb plant down. Rez was found in control, which means Forest now has to take back ground and divide and conquer, because by pulling their attention, he allows Get Right in. Great shot on Toa, but he's found by Furlan, and Dennis isn't quite in a position yet to trade. He will be now. Furlan's not expecting another that late from the same position, but speaking of late, bomb continues to tick. Dennis has a kit, but Forest needs to defend him when he goes for it. They'll tap and pull for Groovy. They surely have to suspect that it's Sandwich, and rightfully so.
There it is, Dennis bringing so much firepower to this squad. Fantastic player. Back-to-back rounds for him. Another 2 versus 2 that slips by the wayside for AGO as they get the bomb down. I think they'll probably have one more buy. It'll be a scrappy one at best, but NiP managing to keep their place on the server. On the CT side, getting back into it now. It's going to take 2 diffusers in a row with 2 players surviving each time, but the money's starting to get a little bit stronger, and we'll have a pause from AGO, or the guys in the desk called AGO, I'm not sure. We'll go for AGO for us, and it will be tactical for them. So in terms of the cash, averaging around maybe just over 3k per player, so you'd imagine they can buy with Toa on 5.5k. Same story for Fur, so we'll see whether they want to go for it. They can definitely justify a little partial buy here. It's very early on in the game, they still have the lead. They'll just give NiP the 3-3 scoreline, which is absolutely fine. But we'll see what they go for. I can see a CZ being purchased. Oh, and an AK. So we might be seeing the full investment here. Indeed we will. 2 AK-47s, 3 CZs, and a bit of utility. These are the kind of rounds you want to be going like an execution, primarily towards inside, I would say, considering you've got those CZs, which aren't great at long range. So you go towards inside that lower ramp, try and trade out the CZs and set the AKs up in the post plant. That would be my call. You could obviously do a variation of that towards outside as well with another execution, but the idea is you want to be doing set pieces on these sort of rounds. You went back to the Tech-9 days, that was very, very common. You don't really see that weapon anymore. I don't think it was purchased once in the last few events. Bit of a shame, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Furlan jumping across top of the ladder to see if anyone's down below. I think Rez is well aware of the fact that he is there. He's made a good amount of noise. And Get Right will take advantage of this. Is perfect. Well executed. 1 to hold and 1 to push. Rez would have likely climbed up to trade off instead. With Get Right getting the kill, he's able to swing back the other direction toward a main. He gets one, Rez gets taken down, and Get Right, thinking that he's safe to throw an 8, nearly gets caught out. Thankfully, Forest is near enough by, and Get Right got away, and they'll win the round 3-3, and relatively clean, considering.
Absolutely. Chaotic, but clean. You're right. 4 players did survive there for the Ninjas, so that's absolutely fine. Nice little push there from Get Right. On exploration towards the inside bomb site, does get towards Pop Dog, finds a nice kill, funnels him towards outside. Forrest doing what he does best, completely decimating his opponents with that M4A4. A bit of trivia for you, Matt. I gave him that one, that skin. So,
did you?
I did, yeah.
Did you?
Back in the day.
Yeah, I was going to say back in that day.
Back in that day,
yeah. That's right.
Those darker times.
Yeah, long and a big investment for you on that one.
Yeah. That's how our friendship began.
Had to buy his friendship,
Had to buy his friendship, but now we're friends. Either way. Draken and Dennis. This is against the Eco. Nothing really to get too excited about. It will be a 5 vs 3. Snatchy with the low HP. He'll be stuck in Olaf. And Forrest will look to pry him out as he can smell him on the other side, but doesn't want to overcommit. That's nice. You just want to see him win the round, not throw away his weapon for a flashy kill. He'll get it regardless, but speaking of flashy, that's not too bad. Clothesline from the IV takes Dennis down.
The one and only. So Groovy and Toa to work together for a mutual resolution. You could say they're going to give it a go.
Possibly.
That was terrible.
Did you know Freiburg's in Heroic now? Did you miss that?
I saw that.
What do you think about it?
I saw a photo. I follow him on Instagram, and I saw a Photoshop on Instagram, and I was like, what the devil is he wearing that for?
They actually did pretty good over in Dallas. They were there as a wildcard team because someone had to drop out. I think it was Hellraisers.
Happens every year.
They actually did pretty good. They're actually looking quite good. So we'll see how that develops. Just noticing out, obviously, we've got NiP on the server. King Freiburg's not playing, but Forest is as he takes another one down. Groovy actually making this quite competitive, or at least expensive for NiP. I don't think he'll get much more than this, as Draken will take him down eventually. There we go. But it will be 4 rounds in a row for NiP, and you have to say, you've got to feel a little bit for AGO. The rounds they gave away looked like lock-ins. They're like, okay, this is when they can run away with this half. They'll force NiP to a double eco, but Dennis just went nuts and came with some great flanks and clutched out 2 rounds. As we'll get into the next gun round here. 4-3 in favour of NiP on the CT side. Orbs out for Snatchy, and Draken 3 and 5. He's got the upper spawn. So this is kind of similar to, like, imagine Banana on Inferno. If you get the AWPer established there, you can leave him alone. Exact same thing towards the upper platform on Train. If you can get him there, he can get right back towards outside.
It's Groovy that waits. Smoke down. Forest will back off of it. Knows that there's likely danger on the other side and doesn't want to get caught in the open, so he'll find cover instead. Intentionally placed. Fair out towards the T-spawn on the A side, and Fear's going in too. Perhaps no fear as he's all the way past the smoke. Draken will get boosted late, and I mean late not only in terms of time, but in the fact that one player has already evaded detection and gone by him. They won't this time as they peek out, but he's not able to flick accurately. Won't say he wasn't quick. He's always quick, Draken, but sometimes does miss out on the shot. For land on the res. Forest from Old Bomb gets 1, but he knows there's a lot more around. Swings wide, and good hold from first. Snatchy to follow up. Round surely at this point, the bomb down, and now a 4 versus 1 goes the way of AGO, and we go 4-4.
Changing up the pace, works out very nicely. That set piece off the bat works out for AGO. Only 1 kill picked up, that's by Forest. We can see the overwhelming positioning from AGO. The smokes go down, they get right by that bomb train, pushing the CTs right back, and the AWP, Draken, can't do anything about it. Vision completely taken away, and he'll just be trying to save the weapon at this point. There is money available for NiP, but remember that round before, it was only 2 players surviving again. I think it was Groovy that did the damage before. He didn't win the round, but he brought it down to 2 versus 1. And if they don't save his AWP, he might be onto an eco. But he does. So Draken could drop 1 weapon, get Rack and buy for himself. The other guys, though, might be SMG CZs. I think they will buy up around it regardless. It'd be a weird eco to take. So there's a UMP indeed. And Draken drops the M4. The other guys should be pistol or SMG. We'll see what they go for. Let's go for a FAMAS, I guess. He's got the armor. Shotgun, of course. What do I know? The auto shotgun's back out of play. We'll see if it works out for him.
Yeah, second time they've used it this half. Get right had it at Pop Dog last time. The other corner you can use it on is the B corner, but that's even more situational. Even further to rotate. Forest, having climbed down the ladder, positions himself in the all-important sandwich position. That quad. Draken unable to connect yet again. He sits currently with only 3 kills, by the way. So the op not really coming online yet for NiP. Forest has gotten ground to his name to work with, a bit of real estate. He's going to hear Toa as well going up. Okay, so he does walk the stairs, but he may be forward enough to have heard that jump as well.
Well, this will be the inside play. You can see Toa making his way back towards the teammates as well. The idea is to get those smokes down, try and set your AWPer up towards that lower ramp, take all the aggro away from him. He can jump down and try and focus the players towards a connector. But Draken's going to be there, but I'm not sure he'll get much vision again. This is a very strategic team, AGO. They like to drop all the smokes, the flashbangs, and take vision away. And this is what I'm talking about. They open the lower ramp, they'll jump down. Draken's missed a shot. If he jumps up again, he's dead. Why he jumps up there, I couldn't tell you. But he took a gamble. It really didn't work out for him.
Yeah, hoping that the AWP didn't post and that everyone was still frantically running to the site, but optimistic at best. Dennis, flank with a UMP. Tapping, still not going to be enough. Get Right's caught inside of the site, no retreat. The next 2, Dennis and Rez will try and save.
That's such an awkward jump for him. Like, he's got options there. He could even fall back to CD Swan, go towards upper ramp, or even just bail out to the left and catch people crossing over. I think he's just a bit tunnel vision on that lower ramp. Had to find a kill at least. Went for it. Really didn't work out for him. That's going to be 2 rounds in a row now for AGO. Actually looking like they've got NiP in their pocket. in the last few of these rounds. They might not be winning them, but in terms of getting the bomb down and having the tactics to get it there, it's actually looked quite good. I will say that. And it's going to be 4 players surviving. NiP on their map pick. Down 5-4 on the CT side. But they will save the AWP. Rez has got that. Dennis will save the UMP. Whether that's going to be enough, I'm not sure. The money should be quite weak at this point. Everyone averaging about 2k. Draken's got 4, so he could be dropped the AWP and buy himself armor. I guess he'll have to drop maybe a UMP for his teammate, maybe a FAMAS. But AGO, you can see why they're being heralded as the #1 team in Poland right now. They've got strategies and some handy players. They seem to work well as a unit. There's no like individual stars we're noticing. It's just like great execution and everyone's kind of contributing. That's quite nice. So tactical boards as Pitter will come in. As he said, he is the in-game leader. Also, he says for this team, I'm not really sure how that works, but we'll see what he can do here. And in terms of their buy, they're not going to force around this one. So Rez will buy a 5-7. Draken, like we said, at 4k. So he can afford to buy armor and be dropped the AWP. Currently sits on 7 and 4. Interesting, Rez uses the 5-7 over the CZ. If you're not familiar, you have a weapon slot. You can either be the 5-7, which is pretty rare these days, and then the CZ, which is obviously very prolific. And off they go. Or the Draken really does need to step up here. We need to see him go for an assertive play, I would say.
Flash down. Quick to the corner for Lamb with the Molotov. Rightfully so, with an AWP up in the hands of NiP. Look at Get Right.
Yeah, looking.
Gribby looked.
He only had the USP, to be fair. Trying to make a play. Not all of them work. And there will be a 5 and 4 for AGA. They know the AWP's still up, so that's why they're playing very tentatively at this point. Round 10. AGA looking to extend the lead here. Dropping the Molotovs towards that pop dog room. Trying to flush anyone out, but this could be the play. If Dennis times this well, he could have 2 frags on a plate here. We'll see if he can get it. Sees one, nails that, falls back. Can't really do much more than that. Obviously, a very narrow choke point. Has to just fall back, maybe rotate the rifle towards outside. Now he's shown presence with it towards inner. That'd be a very sensible call. You could even say, as an IP, let's just leave inside completely open at this point. Just completely take a gamble. They go for the opposite approach. Stack inside. No one outer. Okay. Maybe you're going for the double bluff here. I'm not sure.
Toa works down Ivy, giving quite a bit of ground. Rez, absolutely unaware of it, sits on the bomb train and it's taken for free. Toa does incur damage immediately after from Forest, but he's limited by the smoke and still on the pistol. Dennis at least has the M4 to accompany Draken, but bomb already planted, and the fact that they already were scrapped for cash, I imagine they'll just concede. And sit back, I'd say that Force wants to go. Flash out, he's got a dink. They now will definitely consider this. Toa's already low enough. The problem being they don't have kits. M4 now transferred over to the hands of Force, given that his teammate went down, but Fear gets both, and it's not going to work out in the end for NiP.
Oh,
and Draken started to look away just as he peeked.
Not really worth even going for a kill. That should have been out of there. But it's going to be 6-4. This is looking good for AGO, I have to say. And I think it's Mirage next, which I would say is AGO's best map. They look very good on that one. And this could be a problem for NiP. They drop this, they're in a lot of trouble.
I think AGO on the HLTV ratings, I think they passed VP yesterday by 1 point, having beaten them.
So they're now the #1 team in Poland.
Which is, not happened in close to 1,000 days. I think it was 970 or something along those lines.
Yep. It's a sign of the times, perhaps.
Wow, it's been the sign of the times for a while. The missing factor in that switch was that there was never a second team that was consistent enough to finally overcome them. Not that the opportunity didn't exist before. Start great from the perspective of the AWPS Snatchy, at least, as he finds the shot onto Forest. Still, though, it comes at a cost, as Rez was able to find Toa just before, and NiP finally string kills together that go untraded as Rez gets flashed to A main. Fear's the last alive, 1 versus 3, and as he tries to run away, Dennis would have loved to have put him down there, and ultimately, I think, should have. He'll get his second chance, and we get back within 1.
Absolutely do. That's much better from NiP after losing 3 rounds in a row. They're finally starting to stabilize that. I think 3 players survived. Indeed, they did. Dennis has looked pretty strong throughout this map so far. He's on 9-5, less than I thought, I have to say. And it's the double AWP for the first time. Dennis will be joining Draken as we get into round number 12. We'll have a look as to whether this setup will work for NiP. They've got a few AWPers in the squad. Forrest will be picking up as well. He's actually the main AWPer for a while in NiP. That was a bit of a dark time. But here we go. Next gun round. In terms of the setup, not really a default from AJ. Looks like another execution towards inside. That's where they're finding a lot of success. Everyone pretty much knows Get Right plays there solo. If you know his tendencies, you know where you can focus your attention. And if Draken's not there as well, all it takes a couple of smokes and the AWP's out of the equation. So, Fur will be holding up. It's going to be Snatchy to maybe investigate towards that lower ramp once again. Forrest has rotated in, but he hasn't got that secondary AWP. He's on the M4, now joining Get Right.
So smoke on the ramp. Get Right waiting and flashed in perfectly as he finds both Furlan and Snatchy. Well timed, well coordinated, and well struck. As Get Right also gets away with 39 HP still remaining, and despite Forrest coming up to support the angle, he goes down and Get Right will have a chance to go for more. He gets 3 in total. It's still only a 1-man advantage having lost Forrest without getting a kill, and further damage dealt as well as Draken's on 17. It's double up and Bomb's about to go down, so don't call this done even with that great start from Get Right.
With this smoke going down as well, that makes things very problematic. Toa now with the AWP, 2 kills to his name already, 1 more and it's an equal playing field. He's maybe the advantage towards AGO. That's exactly what happens here. Double AWPs in the retake, no kit, no utility whatsoever. This run looks done. They might as well save at this point. Dennis does find an AK, but there's just no time. They're still going to find 2 frags here. That's not even going to happen. And another disappointing round. Draken a barn door right now.
He's way off this game. Way off. That just doesn't cut it.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Oh well, he'll be able to save the AWP at least. But he has had some big misses so far. Either way, it will be another round for AGO. That's when Get Right gets an opener of 2 kills like that. That should be a lockdown round. That should be over. But either way, AGO look like the better squad right now. I have to say that their overall teamwork and recovery plays is very promising. It's a 5-on-3. That's going to be gutting to the morale of NiP at this point. They save 1 AWP. It'll be for Draken. I don't think they can justify much more than some pistols and stuff like that. Forrest has gone for a... He spent all his money. Forrest has gone down to $0. They've got first aid hospital, so I guess they wouldn't have been double eco, I don't think, but I guess Dennis with 1400, maybe he's just anticipating that fact and he's trying to back up Draken. Time will tell. Let's see if it works out for him.
As waiting on the close angle at the train as Fear get the first shot. He follows that by taking down Draken, but at least got 1 from Draken this time before he perished, and Forrest will follow up. Looks for a second as well toward A-main. Fired at the jumping target.
Oh, here we
Didn't
go.
work out. Get Right. That was perfect. Just barely in reach, but just barely out of range, apparently, for his accuracy as Toa gets in his face. I thought certainly with 2 players in front of him, there was a chance. There still might be. Forrest with his second on the AWP. Perhaps a game where he should take it. Oh! From Snatchy! Forrest nails the shot on the ladder, and Toa in follow.
That's going to light the fire beneath them. You can see they're like, thank you, Forrest. God, we were struggling. We definitely needed that. Gets them back in the game. The CS icon managing to pull it back with the Desert Eagle. You can see that was so precise as well. I thought he was going to nail the headshot, but wasn't even required. Round 14. And we'll see the Galils come out. It's actually a difficult round for AGO, so that's really saved NiP, that massive round from Forrest there.
I conflated thoughts to follow the play. I said he should take the AWP from Snatchy as he killed Snatchy, but from Draken is where I was going to go with that, given his effectiveness with it when the first 2 of his 4 kills. Speaking of Draken, punished early again as he gets taken down to 56. Now, inconsequential to some extent as he is the AWP player, but he's got to start hitting shots as Forrest, with the M4 this time, will open it up onto Toa. Get Right, meanwhile, has company, and plenty of it. Unwelcome guests stored B as they'll get the bomb down. Snatchy follows up as he takes down Dennis. And 4-4 with post plant going the way of AGO. Good positioning. Get right finding one, but taking in a response immediately. The good news, Rez has position. The fact that Get Right was so far up but countered made things awkward. And Snatchy with the AWP is going to get aggressive. Has a bit of a smoke gap to work with, which means he can fade away from this and control the angle somewhat, but the smoke's dissipated. He's missed his opening shot, and Rez controls the situation to give NiP back-to-back rounds. Only... Oh, okay, no, take it back, sorry.
It's fine.
Once I slow myself down to hear the actual beeping, they had lots of time.
Well, there we go. It's looking like it's getting a bit more stable for NiP there. Fending off the pretty much full investment from AGO for the last round of the bomb down. They've got about $3,000 per player. Looking to steal the half away. I'd say it's already been a successful half for the Poles. As I'll bring out pistols here. It was looking so dark for NiP for a few rounds, but Forest really has saved them. That's actually made things a lot more convincing. Double upset to finish things off here. Just CZ's armor, a few smokes, flashbangs. And we'll see whether NiP can take the lead at half, as it will be Draken to go towards the upper ramp again. We discussed this idea. He can actually face a lot more freedom knowing the money's low. She's going to hit one of these shots, but another miss towards the upper ramp. That was a difficult shot. It was a flick. And it will be a headshot through the windows there. It's going to be Groovy that takes most of the damage. Oof, goodness. Needs to be very careful of that. Final rounds, and NiP have a huge advantage. It'd be an absolute nightmare. They gave this one up.
Rez. Flashbang makes contact with Snatchy. I'm sure that was a cue that he was there. Perhaps he's unaware. He goes through, gets caught out on the wall, actually touching a second player, and Groovy gets consciousness, or at least becomes aware sooner. And at that range, reaction of the pistol to the rifle didn't really matter. And this is a round that could be stolen away. Dennis goes to the CZ. He finds one. Double up again for NiP on the retake. Luckily, they've got the CZ. The IKEA pistol and the instructions, despite that they're Swedish, and so too is NiP, still not readable. And that seems to be the case with most IKEA furnishing pieces that I purchase. Draken will at least get Snatchy, but no chance at the bomb.
Well, there we go. It's going to be Draken. Consolation factor at this point. The bomb too far gone. Maybe building up his own confidence. Been a rough half for that young man, but it will be AGO to steal the round away map with just pistols in the last round, and the perfect time to do it as well. You do it just for half-time, let them stew over it for 2 minutes now, as they've lost their own CT half on their map pick. Far from ideal, but certainly recoverable. I think my NiP won't be too phased by that one. Here's Draken just getting these frags. Unfortunately, didn't read too much for him. Quite flashy, quite nice, especially the second shot. But there we go. You can see looking quite dejected at the end there, but he can pull this back. It's not over. AGO were actually in the Pro League this season, where Virtus Pro were not. And they came towards the bottom of the table. I'm not sure they got relegated or not, I can't remember. But they managed to take some scalps. They took some maps off some big teams. So it was a good learning process for them. I think that's made them flourish into the team they are now. Got a lot of experience. That's the best practice you can get. Online games, officials, everyone's be playing properly in an environment like that. So it was quite cool for them. As we get into the second half, we'll have a look at the pistol setup for NiP on the T side. We'll assume a few smokes will come out, 2 of which will. 4 flashbangs. No upgraded pistols just yet. The other players on 3 sets of armor. Toa with the diffuse kit and the smoke. Let's assume this will be some sort of outside play with the smokes towards like the Ivy side and the right side of the bomb train. Could go for the inside plant as well. We'll see what they go for here.
Draken quickly gets to Pop Dog. He'll be alongside Dennis, and it looks like the potential to explode from that position exists. Oh my God, Furs, he walks back out, finds 3 now, as he gets Rez toward Ivy. Follow it up and down goes Get Right. It might be one of the prettiest aces you'll ever see if he can follow it all the way through, and he will. Took a few extra bullets on the last, but my God, that was clean and concise.
Get the replay ready, boys. We need to break this one down properly. As being a child player, I guess we don't really talk about too often. He hasn't exactly set the world on fire yet. Hasn't really been a pro for too long, but that was quite special. A much-needed pistol there just to cement their chances here on train. Now on the CT side, they've won both pistols at this point. I'm sure the machine is just getting it ready. We can just look at him for a little bit longer. Nope. No replay, but it was pretty
we'll
good.
Get it. They're putting it together.
They're making sure
I'm
it's
sure
extra special.
Exactly.
Okay. Extra spicy. And as you'll see, the force buy from NiP. Again, we discussed this before. Draken keeps buying up the armor with the boys. I'm sure not saying it's his fault. He's doing it. Like he's probably been told to, I guess. But it's always a bit of a problem with that first gun round. He won't have the AWP unless he get the bomb down here. Oof. Good shot.
A few highlights in the game. One of them being the scoreline in that AGO has a 9-7 lead. And a second half pistol win to start things off on the CT side. You said it last time we were on this map, just the previous series, that you still reckon, and probably rightfully so, that Train is CT sided. I say probably in that there are a few teams that have remarkable T sides, and obviously things can alter based on momentum and economy. Again's going to step back up, finds 2 more. So 7 kills for him in the start of the second half, and Snatchy will close it out to go 10-7. No bomb plant, keep in mind.
Nothing at all. Not even close to a plant or a frag, really. And this is quite a flat-looking NiP. If you think back to the rounds they won, Matt, when they're 3-0 down, that should have been 5-0. Like, AJ made a few mistakes. Remember that smoke towards Pop Dog, didn't look at it. Some heroic moments from Dennis that saved them. NiP aren't looking great individually. The only remember, Forrest saved them a huge 3-1. It's not that the team have had loads of convincing team rounds. AGO, on the other hand, the rounds they're winning actually look great as a unit, I would say. It's just my 2 cents. But either way, I feel like they look like the more kind of well-rounded unit at this point. It's kind of difficult to say that, considering NiP's on the server, but they certainly have the advantage of the firepower, I'll say that much. Either way, we'll get into another round where it should be quite a simple procedure here. Snatchy making a bit of a meal of it with the MP9, but gets the kill regardless. 11-7. And again, just to reiterate, Draken can't get the AWP in the first gun round because he force bought with the boys.
Maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it seems cruel, and I'm being a bit toward, but it hasn't been the best game for him on the weapon.
True. Maybe this will work out better for them.
Get right sticks to the UMP that gives them a little bit more utility as a result.
Fast play here from NiP. Could work out for them. Dennis going to get the first shot, but Draken taken down quickly. You can see the CTs operating very efficiently. They're going to get all the intel, but this is a nice little flank from Get Right. Maybe not so much. They're getting absolutely destroyed out here, Matt.
Yeah, that's not even close. Not a contest right now. AGO takes the first gun round. 4 in a row. The 8-7 lead stretches itself to 5 rounds at 12-7. Draken does not look too enthralled by this performance, and I don't think anyone watching is either.
Well, I didn't think this would be where we would be at round number 20. I thought NiP would be like kind of encroaching on a victory and looking to close things out on Mirage, but that's actually AGO's pick. And I dare say they're going to win, Train. This should be 13-7. This is not a force buy from NiP, just to note. This is a bit of a partial buy with the maximum loss bonus coming in next. Goodness gracious. This is a very flat-looking NiP. The thing is as well, like, it's difficult to really say it can't be warmed up. So this event is very well equipped. Every team gets their own hotel room, right? Everyone's going to be fired up, ready to go. You're playing quite late in the day. So it should be like kind of hot to trot, but they're looking a little bit off. I'll go towards inside this time. I'll smoke down the lower ramp and hopefully take down Snatchy at this point. Smoke will actually do them quite a lot, but the incendiaries will come in and the flashbangs. That should be quite an easy kill for Furlan. Does get taken down, but the round should be safe. Maybe not if Dennis is there with the CZ. He'll get a second frag, and unfortunately Rez pushing down. Destroyed, and it's Dennis now with the CZ. If he had a rifle, maybe he's got a chance. Does actually dink up Fur in the process. But there it is, 13-7. The bomb planted, the maximum loss bonus. Nice healthy buy here. The AWP coming out for the Ninjas.
Well, bomb plant is something, I suppose. It certainly adds to the loss bonus and gives them that extra $800. But AGO is now 3 rounds away from taking this map 1. And as you already highlighted, we go to the territory of AGO in the next map. Mirage. Toa gets out toward Ivy. Got an M4. Single op on either side. Draken with his is holding passively at Ivy. NiP doesn't even really have the confidence to try and take the fight.
We'll have to find out how it develops.
Stay tuned.
Please do.
Weeknights at 7.
Well, it will be round number 21 here. And Grenade should be quite successful. So is Draken's shots. They're snatching the 1 versus 1 duel, but Toa is repositioning. He wants to push the smoke, I think, and maybe out-position the players on the other side. If you get a flash from a teammate, that'd be great, but no one's there with him. Now a 5 versus 3. Rez pulls one back as well. They're looking to get in towards his main entrance. And Forrest has taken out Toa towards Ivy. This round should be done, but NiP have given up a few horror show rounds. Less than a minute. They're playing this patiently, though, not overcommitting, making sure they're in the perfect position to close the round out. Could fall apart. Orb there on the other side. Draken needs to be careful here. Nails the shot. This is better from him.
Fair goes down. It's been absolutely sensational on the CT campaign. Forrest will close the round, and finally NiP get one going on the attack. And do so efficiently, which is important to note due to the fact that this now will be a reset in the money. But not so much for them if they can add to this. Plus, again, having 4 players stay alive. They've bought out an AWP to bring back into Rez's hands. Op on either side. And this round would also break AGO, so timeout called.
4 players surviving. NiP
Here you
should
go,
be
Henry.
quite helpful. Here we go. This is what I wanted to see in slow motion. Oh, that shot especially. Goodness gracious me. A player we don't really discuss too often, but we'll be singing his praises, I'm sure, even on the analyst desk after that. Perfect stuff. 13-8. Do or die time for NiP. We'll see whether they can bring this one back in their favour. An experienced team like AGO could fall apart for them. Already bested their fellow countryman, Virtus Pro. This is a 1-0 game in the Swiss format. 2-0 is a fantastic place to be. It means you need 1 more game to get to the playoffs. But you will be joined with some very deadly company in that bracket, I would say.
Oh, for certain. It does alleviate a lot of pressure.
Yeah, you know you still got 3 lives, in fact, and you only have to win 1 game. Oh, that grenade. Doesn't do much, but it's quite cool. Inside. Exploration from NiP here with 2 players towards Ivy. Looks like an outside sort will come in eventually. Just going to show some presence towards Inner, perhaps.
Pop flash from Toa. Doesn't go all the way around the corner with it. Dennis is all the way back by the dumpster and smoked off. Toa's made sure that no one's inside of it, hugging the wall. Doesn't need to go any further. In fact, he's going to relinquish the position altogether. Just wanted that information so his teammates can play off of that. And Furlan curiously backing off at B, even though they've not made contact on A. But he'll hold still for a moment longer on the bomb train, and rightfully so as the flashes come in. He's well aware that they are inside of the site. And the flank's been taken down. Forrest reads Fur trying to get up the ladder at Pop Dog, so Furlan has to step up. He will. And the bomb will go down. It's Toa at range who will relocate, reposition, and try and watch for a subsequent flank going down from the backtracks. But meanwhile, Forrest has to get aggressive.
I love that picture in pitch chat. 3 versus
cremation?
3. Yeah, while we're seeing that, I like it, though. It's creative, as Forrest does get another shot. That should be the round from the position I can see so far. Unless Toa can convert this kill. It's also frantic. There's no time. They will start to plant. Snatchy knows he can have a bit of an advantage here. Starts to encroach in his position. Takes off his shoulder. And now Dennis left in a 2 versus 1. He's won plenty of these before. But he's got no utility. He knows he has to just straight up challenge here.
Yeah, they just made this way too obvious. I'm going to come back to the 2 huge mistakes that Toa's made in this round. Dennis now has the upper hand. All he has to do is sit and hold the angle. Toa's got to go aggressive to try and find it. He's got a kit, so he's got a little bit of time. Dennis might get caught off.
Are you kidding?
And Toa's going to get away with this. Dennis doesn't even need to be around the corners, so that mistake outweighs 2 of Toa's. The first and foremost is in there in a 1 versus 2. Toa's clearly spamming from a position that means he's not near the bomb or at an angle. And Dennis identified that and took the shot and got the 1-on-1. And before that, Toa also chased the angle of the player he tagged all the way to a point where he couldn't see the bomb. If he actually read the fact that he was going to the corner and gone to the other side of the tanker, the bomb never would have been planted.
Regardless, they win the round, Matt, and you can't deny that creative play towards the end.
Certainly not.
You cannot. That's a really smart move from him. Dennis didn't see that coming. You'd assume every player goes towards a bomb thinking, I've got to get there, start fake diffusing, start challenging him. He actually gets on the upper ramp. You think, oh, this is a waste of time. What's he up to? But Dennis didn't see it coming, takes him down, and that's going to be a real insult to injury. I don't think anyone would have predicted that play coming in. I haven't seen people do that before. That's actually a really cool idea. Dennis was outplayed there. You don't say that too often, especially in the 1v1s. So well played. That's a huge round to win as well.
And Toa definitely redeemed himself. The first mistake was, okay, fair enough. The second one, the spraying down and not having the second player watching upper for the peak, just overcommitment. But as you say, creative and they get away with it, puts them on 14-8. 2 rounds to go to the end. And Toa will go back to his default position toward Ivy. Sandieri goes deep inside of A main. First gonna push all the way up to Pop Dog. He'll hold as well as Get Right. Goes all around the top of the ladder, but won't go down. Because if he went down, he might go down.
Flashbang from Toa. Trying to set himself up here. Fantastic play on that previous round. Really enjoyed that. Got some tricks up his sleeve, that's for sure. And now NiP, in terms of their map control, 3 players towards Ivy. Rez holding the main entrance and Get Right, of course, just exploring towards the inside area, trying to see if he can find a pick or maybe show some presence towards inside. But AGO, they haven't really missed a beat in the second half so far. They're currently up 6-1, Matt. So let's see if they can finish this one off. And then we move on to Mirage, where things get quite problematic there for NiP.
Toa is able to get in for one. Really vanishes with inside of the smoke, but Forrest finds the angle and pushes forward to get first. Natchy finally silences him from the top of the ticket, but the bomb is not yet planted. And we're in a 2 versus 2. 17 seconds, and that bomb's going to try and go for a default plant. Luckily, they're aware of the fact that Furlang could have been sneaking out late. They catch him off, and that should allow the plant, and Get Right finds Snatchy as well.
What's the money like? I don't think it'll be too strong, actually. There's been lots of clutches going in the way of AGO, but in one player surviving on the CT side, that will whittle you down eventually. So there it is. Draken, good awareness to watch towards that Ivy there. Hit the really important shot. Forrester had done most of the heavy lifting at this point with 3 kills out of that Ivy. And I think it would have been double eco for AGO anyway, so they're going to buy up with the CZs and the 5-7s. A scout as well. Maybe try something interesting like an inside rush. I haven't seen much of that these days. Tactic I used to like a lot, just to catch people out sometimes with the CZs. Looks pretty standard, if I'm honest, so nothing too special coming in. Looks like NiP want to focus towards inside, though.
Snatchy, both positioned at upper. With no one going that direction, actually give them a chance to go backwards into the site. Snatchy's going to take advantage of that. Unfortunately, Toa could not, but AK picked up for Snatchy, and he spots Forrest. That is very, very spammable toward the schools, and displayed as such in this example is for the scout, not the AWP, tries to get an angle, and that allows Rez to slide up underneath. 2 versus 2. Still in a battle. Ruby's going to bring it down. Furlane capitalizes on an immediate trade. We get map point for AGO, and you just finished talking about the money and the back and forth affair that it is. This is bad for NiP.
Oh, the 5-7s, the Deagles, the Scouts. You think NiP will be able to overcome it, but now that could be their death sentence because they're now at map points. And they've only got about $2,000 per player. They're going to have to try and operate on the T side with just pistols. Certainly possible, but is it realistic? I'm not so sure. AJ picked them off 1 by 1 and win another solo interaction there towards the end of the round. 1 Galil, 1 AK, and an outside rush. By the looks of things, good grenades from AJ. Not really connecting, though, but we have got fast presence towards Olof from Dennis. Can they pull this one off? It's going to take 6 rounds in a row now to force overtime.
Groovy watching the lane from hell to main. Dennis tagged, but finds the kill with the Deagle. Dropping down with 1 HP. Groovy certainly heard him hit the deck, so he'll be aimed in that direction, but it works to bait. As Forrest slides back out, finds the kill, but Toa gets the response onto Dennis immediately. Still, though, they're down on the end. Toa, he manages the one, follows it up, but everything's being traded, and NiP find themselves in a 3-on-1, with bomb being planted and Get Right with an excellently accurate shot to make it double digits for either side.
Keeping themselves in the game. That's going to be a reset now for AGO. So, should be a few more rounds yet, maybe 3 or 4, because they're going to have to take some time to restabilize. They're going to force buy again, trying to close things out with the CZs. Deagle's the scout, pretty much the exact same setup they had before. No reset now for NiP. They can't afford to lose a single round. They're going to need 5 in a row at this point, since the scout is picked up by Draken. He currently sits on 12 kills. I think he finished the first half with 6, so still managing to turn things around as NiP will slowly but surely edge their way back in, but it has to be the perfect game from here. CZ's, Deagles, and Get Right's going with the first kill here. This could be problematic if he commits. Indeed it will be. First kill goes against him. So, Snatchy won't know that gun's actually safe to pick up, but it actually is right now. He'll just hold up and see what he can do. Has managed to find the weapon, and they have the man advantage. Can they do anything more with it?
Molotov deep behind the bomb train. No one can play toward the hitch. Without burning as Draken gets one on Furland. Forest adds to the total, but it's not all easy. Fur gets a second in a row on the scout to find Forest, and it's down to Draken. Deagle in hand, scout on the belt, but won't be able to pull that out at close range. And the bomb not in his hands. 45 seconds, he's got ample opportunity to work with it, but not with Snatchy approaching. And it's AGO that take map 1 on train. Remember, we go to Mirage. That's their map choice next.
Yeah, NiP, fair play to them. They did lose both pistols, Matt, but even then, they didn't do themselves any favours. Talk about the too much investment in the force buys in those second rounds. Didn't bring out the orb till very later on in the stage of the game. And even then, they're relying on the individual heroics of Dennis won them back-to-back rounds on the CT side. Forrest had to win a 1 versus 3 with Deagle. And it just looked like AGO, I hate to say it, were the better team overall. They actually looked like they had all the strategies, the setups, and the coordination. No one really stood out individually, but that's sometimes a good thing because the team won, and it was quite a convincing result for them.
Yeah, coming into this on the analyst desk, they thought NiP.
Yeah.
James didn't.
Oh, sure.
He was being a little bit edgy, I think, a little bit, I don't know, typical, having some fun. But absolutely rightfully so, and AGO was impressed. They were dead accurate, and you mentioned it. They beat VP yesterday, who beat Gambit today. So maybe VP wasn't necessarily off, as we sometimes see. Maybe there's something in it, maybe a bit of both. I'm not sure. We'll send it over the desk. Maybe they know a little bit more.
Thanks very much, guys. I think that it comes down to the bear and the banana on the table. That was the clue that I had that AGO would pull this one off, and, you know, let's face it.
Would be nice to know whose banana the bear was holding.
That could be really important. But you know what is actually important? The fact of the matter is, that was actually NiP's pick, and it didn't look like that at all. Henry touched on it, both pistols. The more prepared team was that of AGO, the team who were playing better in, I guess, all of the scenarios based on team play, communication, you know, closing out rounds as a unit, AGO. The only thing that NiP had going for them was Dennis and Forrest stepping up in numerous occasions, being able to close out rounds. The rest of the team just looked so flat. The 2 stars, which we've touted as the win conditions for NiP, are that of Rez and Draken, both relatively nowhere to be seen. Orb shots being missed all day, so I'm not sure what's necessarily going on in that camp right now. But if you're going to pick a map like Train, at least have a game plan, right? Their CT side, they weren't able to get any rounds on the board, and then their T side, they only won based off trading, and that was on some force buy situations. So NiP looking flat.
Yeah, simply was it that AGO were the better team, Yanko?
Yeah, they're looking super flat. I mean, when you look at the way these teams are playing, AGO is playing better CS, right? It's more fundamentally sound. They're playing more off of each other, really. Yes, we were saying, like, Snatch needs to have a good game, and he did have a pretty good game. PHR had that ace in the second pistol, of course, but you feel like that was just the cream on top, the cherry on top of the cake, right? Yeah. It wasn't necessarily the reason why they won the game. It would have been probably closer, but it feels like they would still have come out on top. And I agree with your sentiment, Chad, about, you know, Draken, and this is the anniversary, you know, 1 year of him joining the roster, and what have we seen in this 1 year in terms of his improvement as a player? When he joined NiP, he was this guy who we knew was very explosive with the op, can be very aggressive, go for picks, primary opper, right? One who's going to have it no matter what. And we knew he can have flashy games and, you know, the 30-degree meme and all of that stuff, but that's great, and you expect him to build on that and build some consistency and not have as many off games where he misses some of the easy shots as well. And a year later, have we really seen any significant improvement?
We just saw Grubby there at the top of the entry kills leaderboard. Is that a big key to their win here?
I think when they started on the T side and they had that victory, yeah, that means, you know, he's getting a lot of opening frags and potentially, you know, you have to contextualize those kills. Sure, it matters if they're against ecos, you know, there's different bits and pieces, but if he's getting those kills and they're winning rounds off of those kills, that's fantastic here. I think, you know, Forrest was putting up big numbers, right? The thing is, I say it, and Forrest is one of the legends of the game. If you've been watching Counter-Strike for a decent period of time, you know that he is one of the greatest players to ever touch this thing. Now, in this NiP roster, it's not that he's been forced to take a backseat. It's just the natural progression that now the guy on your screen, Draken, and Rez are the ones who should be taking the mantle as the next generation of stars for the NiP roster. And based off what Yenko was saying, it hasn't come to fruition yet. I don't know if it's not clicking because now with Dennis as the in-game leader, we're definitely seeing a less structured style of Counter-Strike out of them. It's more brawly. And that's where I thought this was going to be a change, right? Because I thought, look, you've got a chance. You got some two big new names in there when you had Draken and Raz. This is before Dennis joined. That you could just change the way that the team went and maybe, you know, play a brand of Counter-Strike that is going to work with modern CS. At the moment, it just feels like I said, no game plan. That's what it felt like. Or the game plan wasn't clicking. And it just, like, flat. That's the only word I can look at here.
Yeah.
But a positive. If we want to look at positives, because I know you like positives, James.
I do. I love a positive.
Was AGO had fantastic openings on their T side. They had so many different variations. They were doing like they did the bomb train wall of smokes, which was cool, but they also did a wall of smokes that was with the E-box, right? So they did the 5-lane smoke and they did either side of E-box so they could push out clear close territory and then push through. Sure, they didn't win that round, but that's because Dennis won a 2v1. There was another round that they lost as well. Maybe that was the next round. But
it was the first 2 gun rounds, right? They had an advantage in both of those rounds after being 3-0 up after pistol, and they allowed NiP to come back into it. And that's where I thought, okay, now they're going to fall apart.
Sure.
NiP broke them. They won some easy rounds. They have good economy. But no, they just kept winning gun rounds even after that and still had a very good first half despite the odds. If they won those 2 rounds or one of the 2 even and reset NiP, they would have had an 11-4 T side most likely.
You talked a little bit earlier about what's going on in the NiP camp, and Draken before this game in the interview, we heard him say that they have very high expectations for themselves. What's going to be going through their minds right now? Because they are not going to be happy about that, but how do they bounce back? How do they bring themselves back with confidence into this next map?
I'm not sure what's going on. It's been such a weird game. I mean, even in the second half, they started coming back a little bit, and they lose two times to an eco, like a half by 2 pistols, and not necessarily because we saw some mad shots from Ego. They were just super disjointed when they started taking the sides, or even before they started taking the sides. So I think there should just be a talk of, hey guys, like let's actually just start playing some CS. Let's communicate more. Let's communicate better, because they seem to have been all over the place.
Great. Any last thoughts about Train before we move on?
I'm done.
Okay, great. So next up is Mirage. But first, we're going to go to a quick ad break. But before we do that, I do want to say thank you to dreamteam.gg for making this tournament possible. You can head there and find out how you can make a CSGO team. So next we have Mirage. NiP are 1-0 down, and they were not expecting to be there. Let's see if they can bounce back after this break.
LootBet. Made for live betting.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.